Mount Snowdon, or Wyddfa as it's known today. Without offending too many Welsh people with the pronunciation, I'll stick to the English version and the name of the mountain behind me. Sorry. Snowdon is the highest mountain in Wales, and it stands at 3,560 feet above sea level. It's in the incredible National Park, or Snowdonia National Park, and it's a place which attracts thousands of people every single year who want to conquer one of the most iconic peaks in Britain. And it has been described as the busiest in the UK, with over 500,000 walkers in 2022 completing a trip to the very top. There's even a cafe at the top, at the summit, and a train that runs up the side. I've walked Snowdon twice and failed once. The time I failed, it was a 90-mile-an-hour wind, and there was a storm that came in rather quickly. We got a fair way up, but eventually had to turn back. A group of much more experienced climbers than me were coming down the mountain and advised that they couldn't even get much further. I thought it's probably best to call it a day, but I've never felt colder than that day on Snowdon. But that, right there, Mount Snowdon, is possibly the most dangerous mountain in Britain. When researching this video, I read harrowing statistics that every year, tragically, 8 people die on average walking in Snowdonia and on Snowdon, and that there are hundreds of call-outs to mountain rescue. In 2023, there were 301 incidents on Snowdon, a record for the mountain alone. But what makes it so dangerous? There are a number of reasons why people get in trouble there. Being honest, if you stick to the many different paths and tracks and also do your research before, and you're very well prepared, you'll be fine. Over 99% of people climb the mountain without any problems at all, but if you do want to stray from the path, then your risk level gets significantly higher. One of the biggest problems is getting lost, and this is the most common cause of mountain rescue incident on Snowdon. You walk through the cloud and hill fog normally, which reduces visibility, making navigation much more difficult. There are ridges on the mountain. The East Ridge, in particular, is known for being an accident black spot, with people not being prepared, encountering many problems. Underestimating the ridges can cause many problems too. One of the paths I've walked, the Watkin path, is also rather notorious on the way up and down, and there's a significant scramble up and down at the end, which can cause bother and trouble. One of the biggest causes of injuries and even fatalities on Snowdon is ground conditions, as the damp and ice can cause problems. The footpaths in summer are relatively safe, but the pig and miners track can become icy and slippery if you're in trainers and not in boots. One particular area of the mountain, near to the mine of Clogwyn Coch, there's a ridge and a cliff. A few years ago, there had been walkers who had fallen to their deaths down the cliff, and this became known as Killer Convex because of it. The channel had become banked with snow, and this had frozen, making it very slippery. The Snowdon Railway runs over this, but in 1972, there were 3 teenage boys who were on a school trip who slid one by one over the edge to their deaths, slipping on the sheet ice and falling off the side of the mountain. There were even calls for bans of youth trips to mountain ranges because of that incident, and even in 2018, a walker fell over 800 foot to his death from Clogwyn Coch. The snow there just turns to ice, and the closer someone gets to the top of the cliff, the slipperier it becomes, with the only chance of saving yourself being a trusty ice axe, and much experience of course. Around 20% of incidents on Snowdon are lower leg injuries, such as breaks with wet rock becoming slippery, and this region is the wettest place in the whole of the UK. The weather here causes a huge amount of problems. It can change within a matter of minutes. I've been on the top of Snowdon basking in sunshine at the top, but then within a few minutes the wind and rain has come in. The first snow usually arrives on top of that mountain in early November, and snow and ice remains on the mountain from then until mid-April. There's even snow on it today. Naturally, the mountain receives a lot of rain, and also another huge issue is people not being prepared because of the weather. Poor clothing can lead to hypothermia, and one mountain rescue report I read even claimed that someone had to be helped off the mountain wearing flip-flops and shorts. You shouldn't laugh, should you? If you are ever walking Snowdon and you do encounter a problem, there is absolutely no shame in ringing 999 and asking for the Llanberis Mountain Rescue Team. That's what you should do, but let them know where your location is using what 3 words or give a rough description of where you are. Many inexperienced and even experienced walkers have become victims to Snowdon over the years, and some have even lost their lives climbing the mountain via the main paths. Snowdon is usually safe, but it can be dangerous under the conditions that can change very quickly, and there are accident black spots on the mountain. Don't get caught out, prepare properly and research and be safe and sensible. But yeah, that mountain right over there in the distance is possibly the most dangerous in the whole of Britain. Oh wow, there's a fighter jet just flying over the Mac loop, literally just over there. Is that a second one as well? Wow, that was pretty cool. There's two more fighter jets that have just gone over.